Download Whiskey Hell Podcast. We call attention to the mainstream media narratives weekly in hopes that you'll have fun with how ridiculous the news really is. We don't want to change your mind. We just want to give you perspective so that you can choose more wisely and be more aware. Couple that with great craft beer, hilarious stories, deep thoughts, and real conversations. We know you're going to enjoy it. Download Whiskey Hell Podcast anywhere you find outstanding shows.
Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? Hush.
Hello, World Ablaze listeners, and thanks once again for tuning in as you are now listening to episode 21. And I want to address that on the last episode that was released, episode 20. I do want to apologize for kind of going off the rails. I know it wasn't the usual show I put together. It wasn't really well prepared. I didn't do a lot of research because it was really more of an angry rant about how things are going on in America and how we got here. That being said, you know, sometimes you just got to get it out. So thanks to everybody who endured that episode. But keep in mind that much of what I said, I still believe to be very true. And I still believe that we need to take action if we're going to keep the country what it is and really maintain the culture of America. I also want to tell everybody that, listen, if you really like the show, which I know you do because you're listening to me right now, go ahead and share it. Please tell others. Spread the word of World Ablaze with George Fonts. And again, I thank everyone who really does support us. I really do. I'm going to go ahead and start the show with, right now I'll sip a coffee because I'm actually recording this in the morning of, the morning of Wednesday, which is May 29th. So you may be hearing this later today, later this week, or whenever you tune in. But I need a little sip of my quad shot flat white here. Need a little fuel, a little fuel to get through. But this show is going to be kind of touching on what I went over with the Trump Stormy Daniels case. Okay, so now closing arguments were given. All right, jury's in deliberation. We don't know what the verdict's going to be, but what's crazy is for a case that is not political, for a case that has nothing to do with Joe Biden's campaign, has nothing to do with the Democrats going after Trump and trying to shut him down and get him out of the political race, or the presidential race, then why are they holding campaign speeches, campaign events outside the actual courthouse where the trial is going on? If you can answer that and truly prove then that the intentions are not political, that this isn't a political witch hunt, this isn't an attempt to just get the political opponent out of the way, then fine. I'll throw my hands up and walk away and say, okay, fine. Maybe this really is about justice. But we know it's not, because what are the actual charges? We still don't know. I mean, look, I already said how they're trying to make this a case, how they're trying to make this something that is illegal that they can charge Trump with. And that is literally trying to tie everything that went on with the Stormy Daniels case, all the interactions, the history, the $130,000 hush money payoff, as they call it, which she agreed to take and sign a contract for, that this is tied to trying to influence the 2016 election, which I don't see how that ties in. I really do not. I'm not understanding that, since every single candidate throughout history literally tries to make sure only the best of them is put out into the media and into the public. So how is this person wrong? How's Trump wrong for trying to make sure that something that he may not want out into the general public, especially if he had an affair with a porn star, relations with a porn star while he was married. Of course, he wouldn't want that public. Probably was embarrassed. Whatever the case is, he has a right to suppress that information if he can, and it has nothing to do with influencing the presidential election. Because, I mean, the numerous things that were trying to be suppressed about Joe Biden during that time. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what would happen if the truth about him came out during that time. But the Democrats had full control of the media and were doing everything they could back then, even to suppress Trump and make sure that he wasn't a viable candidate. Now they're taking a step further and literally trying to throw a political opponent in jail over a bullshit charge that literally, by any standards, doesn't hold any water. So literally what they're trying to charge him with is falsifying business records in relation to payments during the 2016 election that he made to Stormy Daniels to keep quiet about his alleged affair. Okay, so I'm getting this off Fox News here, but basically the premise of what they're saying, everything they're saying, and what I said before, and what everyone else out there is saying is it's all the same. It's all the same. We're all saying the same damn thing. We don't know why there's even a trial. Let's put it that way. Okay, so moving on. It says, so he tried to suppress the information of the affair getting out. That's it. So Trump's former attorney, Michael Cohen, okay, paid Daniels, whose real name is Stephanie Clifford, which I really don't care who she really is, $130,000 in return for her silence about allegations. Again, something that she agreed to, something that she signed a contract for, and something that she didn't have a problem with until all of a sudden he was running for president. Is that coincidence? Sure it is. So, in return for silence about allegations of an affair with Trump in 2006, prosecutors have argued that this amounted to... Now, here is what they're trying to really get him on. They're trying to say that payment and what he did amounted to illegally seeking to influence the 2016 election. It has nothing to do with business records. It has nothing to do with actually paying her the $130,000. They're trying to say that these actions in general, what it's really about is they're trying to get him for illegally trying to influence the 2016 election. Okay. Anybody remember the PP hoax? The fake Russia collusion incident? Remember when Hillary Clinton was questioned and pushed on the information? Suddenly her servers were erased and there was no information to be found. Listen, we all know this is bullshit. Everybody knows this is bullshit. And this isn't me being a Trump fanboy, by the way. This is not what this is. And I'm not going to sit here and try to sway you into voting for Trump if that's not who you want to vote for. But you still have to step back and look at the situation. Top down, with eagle eyes, look at the whole picture, and you can see what's going on here. They're trying to throw a political opponent in jail because they're afraid that he actually will win. And the problem with this is if they throw him in jail, he's going to win by a landslide. By default. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. He's going to win. Everything that they've tried to do to this man has backfired. And again, if this is not politically driven, then why are they holding campaigns outside? A campaign gathering for Joe Biden, a campaign speech for Joe Biden to try to influence others to vote for Joe Biden outside the fucking courthouse where the trial's taking place. Sure, this isn't politically driven at all. Let's go ahead and I'm going to play a clip of a gem of a human being here who's a longtime Democrat and thespian, Robert De Niro. So Robert De Niro got involved in this. Robert De Niro is out here with two of the Capitol policemen who were at the January 6th riots on the streets, giving speeches, giving their opinions, and telling everyone to vote for Joe Biden. Basically sitting here, going out of their way while the trial is going on to sway people away from Trump and try to make it look like he's this evil person when the trial in and of itself is a sham. But let's hear what old Bobby has to say.
Yesterday was Memorial Day. It's a good time to reflect on how Americans fought and died so that we may enjoy the freedoms guaranteed to us by a democratic government. A government that, as President Lincoln said, of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Under Trump, this kind of government will perish from the earth. I don't mean to scare you. No, wait, maybe I do mean to scare you. If Trump returns to the White House, you can kiss these freedoms goodbye that we all take for granted. And elections, forget about it. That's over. That's done. If he gets in, I can tell you right now, he will never leave. He will never leave. You know that. He will never leave. What does that mean? Is that the country we want to live in? Do we want him running this country and saying, I'm not leaving, I'm dictator for life? I hope this new ad campaign reaches outside the bubble to remind supporters of what a danger he is to our lives. This is not a threat. This is a reality. And that's why I've joined the Biden-Harris campaign, because the only way to preserve our freedoms and hold on to our humanity is to vote for Joe Biden for president. Really. We don't have a choice.
Okay. That's fucking hilarious. So Bobby De Niro here, an actor, by the way, who's played tough guys, always tries to come across as he himself is a tough guy, which we all know he isn't. Look, Robert, let me tell you something. Enjoy the movies. You were in some very classic Hollywood movies, and you are a good actor. But you're a horrible actor here. If you watch the video, you can find this on YouTube. He's obviously reading a script, and he's unprepared, and it seems as if, some of the stuff he's saying is almost, I'm not going to say forced, but Bobby, you didn't rehearse. It's not smooth. It's not genuine. I'm not sure what's going on here, but to announce that you have joined the Biden-Harris campaign as if you're going to have any real influence on whether or not Biden's going to win this election. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you may sway a few people, but the majority of the United States at this point thinks you're a fucking clown. Look, stick to acting. Just stick to acting. You have a right to an opinion as an American, as we all do. But to claim that Trump is trying to get elected so that he could remain in office and become this tyrant of America, it just doesn't hold water. It just doesn't hold water. It's not true. And the fact that you think that your only choice for keeping America what America is and moving forward to preserve the American dream is by re-voting in Joe fucking Biden, fucktard Biden, who's pretty much destroyed our economy, who's made us a laughingstock of the entire world, who's behind sending billions and billions and billions of dollars that we don't have to other countries so that they can, clean up their messes. And what's funny is most other countries never support us when we need it. Never. You never hear about it. But here we are going out of our way to take all of the hardworking people of the United States' hard-earned money, their tax dollars, and just throwing it overseas to spread around for whatever agendas that they have that they just won't tell us. We know that our White House is corrupt right now under the Biden regime. That's right, I said regime. The Joe Biden regime. And if anything, we don't even know if Biden's really running anything there. He may just very well be a puppet, as most everyone says. But Bobby, De Niro, please, shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. The fact that you have the balls to get up there and act like you're going to make a difference. Nobody gives a shit, Bobby. Nobody. The fact is you have the balls. I mean, I'll give you that. You have the balls to go out there and make a campaign speech on behalf of Joe Biden while the fucking trial is going on so that you can try to sway people's opinions of Trump and sway the vote while he's on trial. And we all know that in today's times, there's no way that this is going to be suppressed from the jury. All of this gets back to the jury, even though they say, oh, well, you're not supposed to watch the news. You're not supposed to look at any media. You can't be influenced by the outside world and the outside world's opinions on the case. But we all know it always happens. There's always some way the information gets back to the jury. Don't sit there and tell me that this is not politically, this doesn't have a political agenda behind it. That this Trump trial in and of itself does not have a political agenda. Look, everything else that they've tried to do, that they've tried to stick to Trump, all the other allegations and bullshit that they've thrown against the wall to try to make stick has not stuck. It just hasn't worked. This bullshit Stormy Daniels case, this hush money case, is the only thing they have left. And they are throwing all their eggs into this basket to make sure that they can do anything within their power to throw Trump in jail. But what they're so fucking stupid about, what they don't see, because they can't see the big picture, because their intelligence just doesn't, there's just a limit. There's just a limit. 80-point IQs. I mean, I'm sorry. They just don't know how to play this game as effectively as they think. If you put Trump in jail, America is going to unanimously back Trump. If anything, just to stand up to the Biden regime, who is obviously not hiding their intentions by going after a political opponent to throw them in jail and get them out of the way. We all see it. And it's going to backfire. In fact, it is backfiring. And I hope that after Trump gets elected, and I say that because he's the only candidate that's ahead in all the polls, period. When he gets elected, I hope he's classy enough not to just go after everybody, but I do hope that there is a good amount of focus and resources then turned against Biden. Because everything that they have done, their allegations, the evidence that they have against everything that Biden crime family has been involved with, still hasn't been answered for. And the only reason he's getting away with this is because he is a sitting president right now. Now, why does that protection extend to his son and everyone else around him? I don't know. There's obviously, something bigger going on behind all this. I'm not naive in this at all, and neither are you. None of our listeners are. We all know that there's an agenda to suppress freedom and democracy in our country, to turn us all into servants and put us under subjugation, to live in 15-minute cities where everything you do is within a certain bubble or area in which you live, to where they can control your money, your food, what you purchase, everything. Everything has been leading up to this. But it seems like it all hinges on whether or not they can get Trump out of the way. And so far, none of it's happening. Now, Trump's son, Eric Trump, definitely has something to say about this trial. The trial that, well, as I've said, is bullshit, and many of others, and he agrees with it. And here's a video by Eric Trump. This is about 3 minutes and 26 seconds, a bit long, but I'm going to play the whole thing just so you can hear what he has to say.
Forget about politics for a second. I've been in that courthouse with my father almost every single day, and not a single New Yorker, as they look at murders in the streets, women getting thrown in front of trains, kids getting shot in Times Square, the degradation of this city, not a single New Yorker believes that over $130,000 payment from 9 years ago, from 8 years ago, that the entire DA's office is lining that courtroom. They're sitting there, they're laughing, they're giggling. This was their moment. This is how they embarrassed Donald Trump. This is legal lawfare. all while this state absolutely melts. Everybody that sits here right now, every single one of you, knows that this is not the same state that we knew 10 years ago. Knew it was not the same state as we saw 5 years ago. You have total degradation of New York State because the only thing that Alvin Bragg wants to do, only thing that Letitia James wants to do is criminally prosecute Donald Trump. And they're doing it for one reason. They're doing it because they have a political vendetta. They're all funded by George Soros. That's what this is. This is political lawfare, and it absolutely has to stop. And I watch a man, he's the toughest man I've ever seen, and he endures this nonsense every single day. He sits in that seat, and that's not comfortable. He's never done a damn thing wrong. They tried to impeach him in D.C. They tried to impeach him a second time. They went after his Supreme Court justices. They turned the DOJ, they turned the FBI against him. They couldn't stop him. When that didn't work, guess what they did? They went after his family. They went after me. 110 subpoenas later that I've received. I've never gotten so much as a parking ticket. 110 subpoenas. They went after Don. They went after Laura. They went after little Barron Trump as a young kid, as a young teenager. They went after Tiffany Trump. They tried to make his life hell. And then they weaponized every single DA. They weaponized every AG in every far left area because Biden is incompetent and he's losing in all the polls. Across the board, he's losing in every quantifiable metric. Our country is going to hell. And this is their answer. Go after him for $130,000. And I want to say sorry to the jury that's in there. This has been the greatest colossal waste of time. I want to say thank you to the NYPD. You have thousands of officers down here. Thousands of officers down here that could be protecting our streets. Instead, they're guarding this courthouse against a sham trial. This has cost New York millions and millions and millions of dollars. And New York deserves so much better than this. And I cannot wait for the day that we win. We will. We're right. The entire country knows that this is nonsense. They don't buy it. A poll just came out from the New York Times. Even Democrats, the vast majority of Democrats, know that this case is a sham. And I think we're going to prevail. And I'm just proud of the toughest person I've ever met in my entire life for having the backbone and fortitude to go through this whole mess, as uncomfortable as it's been. And I'm proud to have stood there every single second by his side in that freezing cold courtroom against unthinkable odds and a corrupt judge and people making a lot of money and this political witch hunt. He's an inspiration to me every single day, and he'll be vindicated.
Very well said, Eric. Love that he's trying to take himself out of the picture as his son, but just speaking to what's going on from the outside looking in. And he's right. The entire state of New York, I mean, the entire DA sitting in the court, giggling and laughing and, you know, poking and making fun, saying, oh yeah, we got this motherfucker. We got Trump finally. 1,000 police officers, really? I mean, he may be exaggerating, but I'm sure it's a very large number of police officers, New York police officers that are outside this courthouse, not protecting the streets of New York. You know, a state that is going to shit. A state that has an increase in crime, that is become more and more unsafe every day. They're pulling all the resources away from protecting the city. All the DA is there to watch this trial and laugh and giggle and pat each other on the back. You have a corrupt judge sitting and presiding over this whole trial. Everything has been orchestrated and put together to influence the jury and to put Trump in jail. How is New York proud of this moment? Going after him, taking millions of dollars in taxpayer money from the state of New York to go after Trump for what is allegedly $130,000 that illegally influenced a campaign. You're going to tell me that he illegally influenced an entire presidential campaign for only $130,000? I mean, if that's all it took, then hats off to Trump if that's what he did, but we know that's not what fucking happened here. And the fact that they literally believe, see, this here is proof that they're all in on this. This is all they have. If they can't make this stick, they're fucked and they know it. Trump wins. And listen, even if they do make a stick, Trump wins anyway. It's just out of defiance. Just because the American people are going to go out of their way to not support Biden and his regime because they see what's going on. I mean, they haven't been hiding it. I mean, they literally just held a political campaign speech outside the courthouse with Robert Bobby Fucknuts De Niro. I mean, what the hell more do you need to see, America, to realize Biden isn't the answer, to realize that the Democratic Party has turned against you? They're just looking to keep their influence and their power, and they're using America as a tool to do it. They don't care about us, and they don't care about you. They don't care about anyone but themselves and their small circle of friends. That's it. They really don't have anything else. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when the verdict comes out that Trump is innocent, and or even if they decide he's guilty, of course, under massive outside influences and political pressures, which I'm sure is getting to the jury. Don't even act like it's not. But even if he's found guilty, as many analysts and many scholars have said, it's still going to work in Trump's favor. He's still going to win. And if he is charged and is found guilty, it's going to be a landslide victory at the polls. And then what? What's the next move there, Biden? What is the next move there, Democratic Party? What do you have next? I mean, hell, I guess I have no more words for this. You know, let this be a lesson to all. Take note. Okay? Our corrupt government has exposed itself. And it all started back in COVID. It really did. Where they couldn't hide and suppress what they were doing anymore because the American people had too much access to information, unlike we've ever had in our time before. Everybody started questioning. Everybody started poking and prodding. Hey, why is this vaccine not as effective as you said it was? Why am I still getting sick and spreading it if I took the vaccine? Why are these masks not working? I'm not going to make this a COVID episode, but just giving examples of how they were exposed. You know, as in how is this gain of function research tied to Fauci, and how is it that the American government was funding it? You know, these are all things that came out and the American public felt betrayed and they were lied to. And there's still hangers on, you know, that are supporting the Democratic Party and believe that Joe Biden is the way. But I think most of that is fluff. I think most of that is smoke and mirrors, and it's just basically whatever they're trying to push in the media. But as an American, ask yourself, is that really what you believe? Do you really, really, really still back your Democratic Party? Do you really, really, really back Joe Biden? Look, I said this in a previous episode. In the end, there's only a few things that we disagree on, Republican or Democrat. But in the end, we're all very, very similar when it comes to the American way. You know, we want freedom, we want food, shelter, we want a safe place, we want a great economy. We want to achieve the American dream. Yes, there are differences between us, and some can say there are some major differences, but there's only a handful of them. But in the end, our basic inalienable human rights and needs that we all have and deserve and expect from our country, we all share them, and we all in the end will come together as we always have. So look, all the bullshit aside, let's make the right decision here. Let's make sure that we end this flaming ball of shit that is the Joe Biden administration. Let's just make sure that this ends. Let's get our economy back. Let's get our worldwide respect back. Let's put America first again. Okay? And don't give me your MAGA bullshit. Like it's the statement of MAGA, make America great again. I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, I'm just talking about the statement, not the supposed movement, but the statement in and of itself. What is wrong with putting America first? Why can't we stop giving billions and billions of dollars to other nations while we suffer on our own streets? Why can't we invest in our own infrastructure instead of giving aid to other countries? Why? Why can't we look out for ourselves? Of course, we all want to love our neighbor, as the Bible says, and we all want to make sure that other humans have a right to life. I'm not saying that we shouldn't support that. But at what cost to ourselves? Where do we put the limit? Where do we put that? Where do we draw the line on how far we go to where it's detrimental to our own country? So yes, make America great again, I say. Put America first. Think logically. Stop thinking with your feelings, because that's what's going to destroy America. This is a pivotal moment. They're not hiding their agenda. We can agree that this is very politically motivated to put Trump in jail and get him out of the way. And if this is successful, there's nothing stopping the Republican Party from doing it to the Democratic Party. There's nothing stopping it from anybody doing to anyone, because the precedent has been set and it has been shown that it is now okay to do this. And it really is not, because this is the beginning of the demise of the America we all love. Well, that's the show, everybody. I really, really appreciate you all tuning in. And again, if you can, please spread the word. We're doing very well. We're growing, and I appreciate your support. But just tell others. There's no shame in that. Once again, thank you, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Redemption, honesty is a one-way gate to hell.